We welcome you to Pinnacle Homes and Projects, a Nutec house building company that is based in Cape Town. We are a company that is building Nutec houses and wooden houses, log houses, timber homes, and all alternative housing solutions. You name them, from the Nutec, which is the fiber cement, to your windy houses, the pine, and also the timber and the log houses. We also do any other alternative housing solutions. These could be your zinc houses, Vibracrete houses, though we are not much into Vibracrete houses, which I would like our clients and the market to know, because we haven't really tried these products and built them for long to see the viability of and the sustainability of building these kind of houses, right? They are quite popular in the Western Cape, though we haven't really built them. Yeah, so that's what we do at Pinnacle Homes. Nutec houses, they are basically fiber cement houses. It's made of fiber cement, and they are durable, they are quick to assemble, and they are better compared to the conventional brick houses. And they are houses that are becoming very popular, especially in South Africa, particularly in the Western Cape, and they are quite competitive in the price compared to the brick houses, and they are quick to assemble, like I've mentioned, and they don't take much of your resources and a lot of materials as compared to the brick houses. Though there is some similarities, they all are the same in the sense that you have to go through the city council approvals and plans, especially if you are building in the urban areas or in the city, particularly in the areas where the bylaws are very strict, like here in Cape Town. You would find out that within the northern suburbs, the southern suburbs, the Atlantic seaboard, West Coast, which other region do we have in Cape Town? Within those four regions, that forms Cape Town, minus the Cape Flats, yeah, Southern Peninsula also, which is the Simonstown, Force Bay, Glencane, Fishhook, that region also, and Nuduk. You would find that they tend to be some requirements of plans, and as you go also over the mountain, Chapman's Peak, you are in Out Bay, which is also taking you to places like Constantia, Bishop's Courts, Rondebosch, Claremont, and much of the southern suburbs, and then getting into the interior, which is your Cape Town, Atlantic seaboard. Yeah, so there you would find out that those properties, there is a lot of requirements that comes with a must in terms of an approval from the council, and approval in terms of the approved plan. Because of a lot of issues, you would find out that there's insurance issues. The neighbors, they tend to be very difficult, because any fire issues which can happen, say this Nutec house that is within Constantia, in a yard in Constantia, or plot if you want, or in Kemps Bay, or in Newlands, or in Claremont, in all those areas, you'd find out that those are high priced properties, and there is a lot of requirements, and there is a lot of ways that they've put in place to protect those properties. The neighbors who would have insured their properties, to make sure that there is no any challenges that comes with building without a plan. However, you also find, or you also get some properties where they are agriculture zoned, but within the same regions. Like if you go to the Southern Peninsula, and also some parts of Hot Bay and Constantia, I think you also see that there's some agriculture zone, especially the areas that has got vineyards and the grapes farming, that side in Constantia, the crude and plain Constantia areas. You also go to Hot Bay, there's other areas where it's agriculture zoned. You'd also find out that in those areas, the requirements are not as strict as compared to the 100% urban ERFs, which is the plots that are within the um, precincts of the urban area and town planning. So it depends with where you are, based in terms of the requirements that they require for you to be able to build a Nutec house. Especially when it's on foundation and concrete floor, you find out that they can be very strict, because they will say that this looks like a permanent structure, or it becomes a permanent structure, so they can come out with all those strict requirements. So strict in the sense that they are just requiring you to make sure that you submit a plan and then get it approved. And once it's been approved, taken to the council, you can then come back to them once they've given the approval in the form of municipal temp, and then you can be able to be allowed to build. So we have had those kind of clients, and then you do have the clients that are still within those other areas that I've mentioned, but perhaps they are building structures that are not for residential usage. It could be guard rooms, storages, a small home office. There, a lot of it depends on the client's discretion, because now we are not building something that is permanently fixed, or a permanent structure. Perhaps it's just a storeroom for your tools, a garden shed, or it can be also a place that you just want to use as an office, you know. So that is another thing. The client's discretion also is of importance, because you don't want to be seen to impose on clients on what to do. So those are the frequently requested, frequently asked questions, where most of the time the clients are requesting information pertaining to building with the requirements of the municipal building regulations, if they are to be allowed to build with or without a plan. So to cut the chase, I can say that the planning permissions, yes, they are from the legal requirements of the council, and they are very important. However, client's discretion is of paramount importance. It is up to you as a client to decide to build or not to build with or without a plan. Us as builders, we do not impose our will or our decision on the clients. We work within the parameters of the rule of law, and which is that most of the structures must be regularized by being approved by the municipal requirements and regulations. However, because of the agents of the structures, because of the nature of the structures, the purposes that the structures are going to serve, the area where the building is going to be built, and all those considerations, you'd find out some clients, they build without a plan and they decide to use their discretion and to build without. And we do not take liability, and we are not liable on that. But if you are asked to build, because we could, for example, argue that this is a 3 meter by 3 meter, 2.2 guard room, and it's not that kind of a structure that can be very strict in terms of it being on a plan, or it could be a temporary shelter, it can be storage and things like that. And then you go to the Cape Flats, where the majority of the people in Cape Town live. There you also find out that there is quite a lot of structures already that are not on plan, if not all of them. If you go to Kailicha, Guguletu, Langa, Crossroads, Lower Crossroads, Stock Road, you go to some parts of West Coast, Danun, you go to Langa, which is close to Gudud, you find out that majority of those townships, Delft is one of them, they've got a lot of houses that are just built without following the regulations of the council and without a plan. And in those areas particularly, we are less busy in the so-called townships, because they prefer mostly the zinc structures compared to the Wind House and the Nutec houses. But then we have the cap flats where it's predominantly the areas that previously were so-called colored areas. You'd find out in those areas there is quite a lot of demand of Nutec houses. This is your Bonteview areas, Bishop Levis, Missions Plain, Anuva Park, Lavender Hill, Retreat, Ocean View, you name it, there's quite a lot of these suburbs. There's a lot of activities of Wendy houses and Nutec houses. So it all depends also, like what I've said, within also all those areas, there is also council requirements, there is regulations, there is also the client's discretion. They look at their area, they can also tell us, because within also much of and most of the areas in the cap flats, the formerly colored areas, most of the times you see that there's quite a lot of structures that are also built and sprouting all over, and they are not on approved plans. So I thought to share today about that, to say that the decision to build lies on the client, especially using their own discretion. However, the most legal requirement is that they must go through an approved plan processes, municipal processes of obtaining a plan, which will take between 2 to 6 months, or because of some challenges that have been happening after COVID, it can be a bit late to get it approved. And then once it's approved, there is a stamp, then that project is on council system. And then they will come and inspect the foundations, they come and inspect the plumbing, drainage, and they also come to inspect the final product when the house is finished. This is when the building inspector comes to check the completion, which then leads to the issuing of the occupational certificates when everything has been done according to the required plans. And you'd find out that they also require you to submit the compliance certificate for your plumbing and electrical, the COCs for plumbing and the COCs of electrical. Yeah, so these are the processes. So a lot of people, they ask us, what do I need to do? What is the first process? So the first process is that you need to know exactly what you need to build. You need to know exactly the specifications. You need to have a concept of the house. So you take a paper, you sit in your house, you draw. That is the concept. You just draw on a rough paper what you have in your mind, be it a 3 meter by 12 meter. So you're drawing now to say it's going to have 2 bedrooms. You put it on a drawing. There is going to be a bathroom on the center. There's going to be a kitchen and open plan sitting in kitchen and sitting room. It can be 45 square meters, 60 square meters, 72, whatever the side. You're drawing the concept, right? And then after you have satisfied yourself that this is what you want your house to look like, you can then also call the architect. There's a lot of architects. If you do not have one, you can call us on the numbers provided on this video. Then we'll supply you with architects. We have a lot of architects that can draw you the plan. They will sit down with you. They do a site visit, which is to come and see exactly how your plot or your yard looks like, and you show them the concept and exactly what you need to do. They'll also come with their sketch. After sketching, they then go to their office as draftsmen and sit there. You know, they use all these apps and programs like AutoCAD and so on. They draw the plan, and then sometimes they give you the 3D dimensional drawings so that you can see how your house would look in real life, and then they submit it to the council. Once approved, stamped, then us, we are called to come and build for you. So that is the first step, right? Some people don't have ideas in terms of how can I come out with a concept. You know, you can also go to Pinterest. It's a popular app on internet, kind of similar to Facebook, but it has got a lot of, it's mostly for pictures. You just search house plans there, so there will come a lot of house plans. Then you can take some of them and use those ones, download them and send them to us. and then we can start the process of sending you the quotation. So the quotation is actually done within the period of the concepts. As soon as the concept are available with the measurements 9 by 10, 12 by 10, we now know the number of square meters, we now know the number of bathrooms that are in there, we now know the number of bedrooms and all those critical specifications and information. Then we'll send you the quotation. So you don't need to wait until the plan has been approved by the council for you to be able to get a quotation. You get a quotation way before we have started sending you we're sending these drawings rather, for approval. So that is what I thought to share, because it's a frequently asked question where people ask, how do I go about it? What should be the steps? What should I do? So this is what you should do. You phone us, you have got our numbers, you tell us what are your needs and what are your specifications. We can quote you without even a drawing, or you can then go on Pinterest, come out with concepts, download them, or you can also draw your own concept, email them to us, WhatsApp them to us, and we send you a quotation. Then we refer you to the architects, or you have your own architects. Then you take it from there. The plans are submitted, they are drawn up and submitted, and then they come up when they are approved, and we build you the Nutec house. So these are the frequently asked questions where clients would ask you, what is the process that I should follow to get the house built? So I gave you a background information in terms of the city of Cape Town and where we are here in Cape Town. But you've got people who are staying out of Cape Town, also within the farms, small holdings, and there is also people staying in some towns surrounding Cape Town, like Stellenbosch, Pau, Wellington, Strand, Somerset West, and all those small towns around Cape Town. You've got Atlantis to the west. You would find out that the requirements of going and building with or without a plan also depends on the area. If you're in Philadelphia, in the farms there, in the small holdings in Chatsworth, in Mamasbury, you would find out that you're at your farm there, you're just building. It can be in Stellenbosch there at your farm, you're just building. It can be in Pau, in Wellington, at a farm, and all those places. But then you have got the urban Stellenbosch now. We are in the town. You see that the requirements can change, because if you want to build a 60 square meter at the back, or a 90 square meter, or 120 square meter, they now want you to go through the plans. So you must use your own discretion, look at your area, find out the requirements, use your own discretion. At times you might build with or without a plan. In most cases, in other areas, people build without. However, it's the client's discretion. It's not something that Pinnacle Homes tells people to do. We only tell you the right information that you're supposed to know, which is what we have mentioned, that according to the building regulations, you need to build your structure following the due processes of getting a plan drawn and submitted and approved. But then there is the paths. But if you are in an area where it's not really of requirement to build and following the guidelines of an approved plan, then you can build without. These can be farming areas, rural areas, and so on. So those are some of the questions that we are normally asked. And then the other one that we are normally asked is the pricing model. You would find out that people ask us, how much do we charge per square meter? And to be honest with you on that, is that it's very wrong to price per square meter, and it's actually deceiving, because the projects, they vary from project to project. You might find out that you have a project that is of 60 square meter, that is built on a flat ground here in Cape Town, let's say in a place like Ponteview at the back of the existing house, or in say in Mishaw's Plain, or any area where it's flat. The materials, that are going to go on the foundation. They are different compared to someone who is going to build the same house in Glencairn or in Simonstown or in Gordons Bay or in Fish Hoek or in Hot Bay, because those terrains are very rough, yes, are mountainous. So it varies. We look at the structure, we look at the quotation, we look at the site, we look at a lot of things, where the site is, we do a site visit, we look at the needs of that project, and then we look at a lot of things, where the distance between the mains and the drainages, for example, for plumbing, the electrical as well. We look at the ground itself, how it is. So at times we charge per square meter, and it works very easy. It depends with the area, and then at times the area is where we need to charge, or we need to price according to the number of the days that we are going to spend working there, the material that gets in there, and then put a markup. So it just works differently depending with the area where you stay. Because if we give you a 4,000 rand per square meter, or a 5,000 or a 6,000, you would find out that in an area like Glencairn or Simonstown, that would be very difficult to work on that amount, because you need to build on mountainous terrain. Perhaps it's going to be stilts or poles and a lot of things that are going to be done there. Yeah, so the best is to call us, and then we do a site visit, and then we look at your needs, and then we send you the quotation based on what we see on the site, and then we can come out with the correct price that avoids us to underquote or overprice, or then coming to you to say that we quoted but the price was not the right one, because we never got the chance to come and view the area. So it's important, and very, very important, that before the price has been finalized, a site visit should be done, just to come and see what needs to be done, and see how the area is, and see how the terrain is, and then come up with a correct quotation. Yes. So you also get some questions from clients that are frequently asked, especially these days. You get people asking you about the Nutec Houses, to say that suppose you build a Nutec house, and there is some, let's say some few years later, I need to sell my property. What guarantee is there that this Nutec house won't affect the property value, and also my decision to sell the house? And others, they even ask if they can relocate to the Nutec house. But let's start from the first one. The first one, if you build the Nutec house and it's an approved plan, and all the process has been followed, you got your 3 inspections done, the foundation, the plumbing, and the completion, you got your occupational certificate. In terms of then selling your property and also insurance purposes, it should not be a problem, because all those are the compliances that they require. Even when there are people who come to evaluate, the evaluators, and to see how much your property is worth, they will also include it, and you would find out if your property was once valued at, let's say, 2 million, it can be now 3 million or above, because now they've taken into consideration the second dwelling that is also in compliance with all the required regulations. So it's actually an advantage, because then it ups, or it increases the value of your property. However, if the compliances are not done, then it becomes a problem, because then you would need to get a plumber to give you the COC, and also an electrician, and then once that's done, submit, and then you get your occupational certificate. So there is another question about the relocating Nutecs. Nutec houses, they are by nature fragile, because they are fiber cement. So it will depend with the thicknesses of the Nutec boards that are used, if they can be the ones allowing that structure to be immovable. Mostly, what I found out from where we have been asked to come and relocate Nutec houses, the type of Nutec boards that the other builders in the market have used made it very impossible, because they were cracking and breaking but with the right thickness, maybe from 9 millimeter upwards, it could be possible because Nutec are built with timber frames. So that is another thing. And then you would find out that there can be also questions to be asked about the finishings that we do. Yes, we do give finishings like electrical plugs and wiring, switches and all the lights. You also get your plumbing, toilet, basin and showers, painting, skimming, and all those extras. Yes, so for those who want a complete ready to move in house, yes, we can do that. And then there is also people asking about the references, and some they ask to come and see where we have built and our factory and so on. So we do not have a showroom. However, if you arrange with us, we can take you to places where we have built. There is a lot of clients that we have built for before. We are willing to open and show our new clients or our clients to be the houses that we've built. And also secondly, the references we can provide, the phone numbers, and you can phone and you can talk to these clients, their experiences about us, and find out if we are the right people to help us. As you know that there is quite a lot of fraud, scams, and a lot of things that happen in the market. A lot of people have lost their monies to unscrupulous builders who are just taking people's monies and don't complete the structures or don't build at all. So it's important for you as a client to do a due diligence, find out more, research the good companies, compare the good apples to the bad apples. Don't rush to pay deposits, don't rush to give monies, don't rush to pay monies or your hard-earned financial resources to people you don't know. Insist on knowing a lot of things, where they operate from, the office, the registration company documents, the references, and if possible, go and see where they've worked before. Talk to the people there. Those things are important because they prevent you from being a victim of scams, fraud, and all these issues that we read on the internet where a lot of people are stealing from clients. And then lastly, the challenges that we face are challenges of budgets, the clients' budgets, because of the economic times and challenges that we're going through. Almost everyone is going through the same challenges where there is a lot of problems in obtaining good budgets to build such projects because of the way the economy is performing and all that. So we will then find out that there's quite a lot of clients who come and then they want ready to move in with all the finishings and so on. And then at that time, you have to also give them some discounts and dropping down the prices. However, the challenge becomes that having done that, I think there is a bit of forgetfulness that then happens with the client's expectations. They will then at times expect now to get state-of-the-art finishes and so on, or they could be expecting a lot than what was being paid. So we try to strike a balance between what has been paid and what can be provided, and explain to the clients clearly before a contract has been signed. So that's another important thing. We sign the contract. We don't get clients signing us contracts. It's us who sign our client the contract, and we stipulate exactly everything that we are going to build and provide, from the type of material and the duration of the project and all the specifications that the client must know. That should also reconcile with the invoice and the quotation sent to the clients, so that there is no any arguments and any problems that might result. On those clients whose budgets might not be sufficient and they feel that we must build them within the budgets, what we call budget Nutecs, we can work with them also buying their own finishings, because where you then try to buy finishes that are in line with a reduced budget, it can be a problem, because then they can also say that you providing me the finishings that are not of quality. So on that one, we then say to the client, if you want your plumbing finishings, tiling finishings, you can buy them and provide and install for you without charging you, because they would have been part of the quotation already. Yeah, just to make sure that that is clear, because it's one of the challenges that we have seen, not specifically to us, but just observing the Nutec Houses market. I've seen quite a lot of clients complaining about the type of the finishings that other companies out there provided, the quality. But then when I was asking them and I was getting to try to understand the word transactions that they did, I came to conclusion that those were budget Nutec houses, way reduced, perhaps untreated timber not used. So you get some people upset when you send them a quotation. They'll tell you, oh yeah, very expensive. I can get this house. Just last week I had a client saying that they could get a 3 meter by 12 meter for 30,000 rands, and this Nutec house was going to be built in an area that is close to Ceres, that is after Wellington, as you go to Tauba, as you go to that side close to Worcester, very far from Cape Town. And then I was left not understanding how can that be possible. But there was a company that really assured that client that 30,000 was going to be enough, including transport and delivery, with a ready-to-move-in house. But you are left wondering, how is that possible with 30,000 rands? Yeah, so that is another thing to look at. You must be able to use your discernment to make sure that these prices that I'm being told over the phone, do they make sense? If someone tells you that you can get a 3 meter by 12 meter, complete ready to move in with 72,000, electricity, plumbing, tiling, everything, is that real? Is that possible? What about the board line and ceiling? What about the labor? What about the transport? What about the material for the toilet, basin, shower, electrical? All those things. Once you have been able to question yourself along those lines, you find out that you might be able to separate the genuine builders and the scams, because normally and mostly the people who are going around stealing from clients, they entice clients and the market by sending quotations that are so cheaper and unbelievable low, and people then go for them, and then they are disappointed because their is not to compete and to build, it's just to take the deposits and run away. Yes. And then we also get people asking us if we can build out of Cape Town. Yes, we build. We can build anywhere or everywhere, wherever you are located in South Africa. However, there is now the extra cost of delivery, transport, accommodation, and upkeep. And you would find out that some clients, they are hesitant also to pay that part. So, which leaves us also questioning the clients if they are using their own faculties well, because you cannot go and build in Eastern Cape, say in Port St. John's or some other areas, they're very far, even KZ, and we get calls like that, and then expect the price to remain the same. The transportation of the materials, both Nutec are not, both are not available at most throughout South Africa. They are just materials that are available in selected areas and branches of our suppliers. And then the timber also that we use at times, those are very far flanked areas where there is no supplies. So we live with a truck with all the supplies. And that's when we say, okay, we're going to spend 6 weeks working on a project very far. We need to factor the transportation, the delivery, the accommodation, the upkeep, meaning that should anything happen to one of the artisans, be it an accident, be it injury at work, be it sickness, all those things. So this is something that the market and the clients must also appreciate, that when you are far, we don't change the price. The same price of the house is the same as in Cape Town. It's only this part that we ask that should be paid also, that should be factored also, that the client also understand that we're going to work 240 kilometers away from Cape Town, or we're going to work 400 kilometers away from Cape Town, or 1,500 kilometers away from Cape Town, for example, Johannesburg. Yeah. So this is what I felt to share, and for those people who have been following us, they can see with the watch. I'm sure they've seen what we've been busy doing from the month of January. We have done quite a number of projects. They came out very beautiful, the way I promised in one of my last videos where I spoke in December. And I'm happy with the quality that we have provided to our clients. We've been using the top quality materials. We've been keeping our projects within the set time limits in terms of the duration. And yes, we have had the challenges, but they are very minimal challenges. And compared to what we have delivered, the deliverables were very impressive compared to the cons. So yeah, the small disadvantages that came to us here and there, but mostly we are on the positive. We have been building our structures and happy with what we are doing. So for quality Nutec houses and log houses, timber houses, and any other alternative housing solutions, Pinnacle Homes and Projects is the company for you of choice, and we are able to build you at competitive pricing, reasonable timelines and duration. We do have a number of teams, and we are people of integrity. We very passionate about our work, and we have done a lot of projects. We have got traceable references, and we are in the market for some time now, close to 15 plus years. So yes, whenever you think of building Nutec houses, we are the company for you of choice. Give us a call on 074 246 4182 or 083 730 9360. Alternatively, visit our website www.pinnaclehomes.co.za and we can be able to assist you. Thank you.